Hey everyone, it's Patty from Art Out of Anything, and today I have the first in a series of art history Halloween process videos. These videos are great for teachers, for homeschooling, and for anyone who just wants to do a little something special for Halloween at home and maybe work on a little math and a little art history and lots of other things too. Okay, so today we're going to start out with Keith Haring. Keith Haring was a graffiti artist. Well, he was an artist who also was a graffiti artist and street artist here in New York. He was originally from Reading, Pennsylvania. You can learn more about him at haring.com, which is the Keith Haring Foundation. The great thing about Keith Haring that I love introducing children to is his technique and his images. Here we have 3 different images. They're all of his dog series, and we have his dancing dogs, which are so much fun. We have his barking dogs, and we have a simple line drawing of his barking dog. Now, when we talk about art history and artists, we're talking about where they were and their time as related to other artists at the same time. We also talk about their techniques. We talk about the colors they use, their style of painting, drawing, or creating their art, and their themes. So let's look at Keith Haring. He used line, he used bright colors, and he broke down his subjects into geometric shapes. So what are the shapes that we see here? We see rectangles, we see triangles, we see some curves, but the majority of his line or straight lines that create right angles. So they're very, very sharply geometric. There's not a lot of ovals or circles or anything like that, particularly in these images. So we're going to use the ideas and the themes that Keith Haring used in his work to create our own Keith Haring cats. Okay, so let's remember now. Thick black outline of a silhouette. You'll notice a silhouette means that there are no details within the image. There's no connecting lines where the legs would connect to the body or the tail or the ears. It is all the outline of the shape itself. Bright colors that pop, especially against that thick black outline. These are all part of what makes his art stand out and what gives it his personal style. So we're going to start out by making a cat. And I'm going to stick to geometric shapes. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to use one piece of paper. Use a smaller piece of paper. It's about, I don't even know what it is because I cut up a larger piece of paper. It should be about 9 by 12, maybe a little smaller. And what I'm going to do is just going to very quickly draw a cat using triangles and ovals and some rectangles. Okay. And as you can see, I'm drawing really lightly, because I might want to change it, and also I'm going to have to get rid of something before I move on to my bigger piece. What we're going to do is we're going to transfer this small picture onto a larger piece of paper, and I'm going to show you how to do that with this very specific technique. Now this cat needs a tail, so I think that's where I'm going to incorporate my rectangles in the tail. There we go. Okay, and like magic, voila! Here's one that's already done. Okay, so as you can see, I went over, once I drew my cat, I went over it with a black marker. And I just used a Sharpie or a black, this is actually a 99-cent store, thick black permanent marker. And I went over all my lines, but watch what I did, because I wanted a silhouette, just like Haring did. I did not go over the lines that connect the head to the ears, or the legs to the body, or even the tail to the body, or even the legs to each other. I only outlined the basic shape of the cat. Okay, so this is going to be our draft. This is going to be our sketch. This is going to be our reference when we transfer it to the larger piece of paper. So I'm going to put that aside for a minute. And here's our larger piece of paper. And this is an 18 by 24 piece that I cut in half. And what I did was I folded it in half, and then I folded it in half again. And now I have my 4 rectangles. And this is going to be my grid. Now I'm going to take my pencil, and I'm just going to draw a line right across. Doesn't have to be perfect, because all you're doing is setting up your grid so that you can transfer the image from here to here. Now there's lots of different ways to transfer images. You can use tracing paper. You can actually create carbon paper by using crayons or pencil and then going over the lines and transferring them onto another piece of paper. But this is a way that you can do it without needing transfer paper or anything like that. So as you can see, I folded my sketch into fours. I'm going to divide that up also into 4 quadrants. And those of you that are artists or art teachers or have done this before know that this is a technique that's used to do portraits a lot, because it helps us to break down the image and make it bigger. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I am going to draw whatever is in this rectangle, whatever's here, here, whatever's here, here, and whatever's here is here. So in order to make that a little easier for myself, I folded the paper so that I'm looking at only one rectangle at a time. And again, it doesn't have to be perfect, because you can always go back and fix it. Once you have your whole image here, you can look at it again and say, wait a minute, that looks a little strange. I don't think that's right. Or maybe they didn't connect up properly, and that's okay, because then you can fix it. Okay, but at least this gives you a place to start. It's really hard to start from a blank canvas, right? So this at least gives you something to work with. So here we go. And again, I'm just doing the outline. Now, if it helps you and you want to do the lines inside that connect everything because you're doing this in pencil, you can do that too, right? And then later you can just erase the pencil. So whatever works for you or whoever you're working with. And you can see this is very strange. That does not look like my cat at all. So I can change it and make it look better as I go along, or I can wait until after I finish my entire piece and then rearrange everything. Okay, now I'm going to do this corner, which brings me to the cat's feet. And you know, I've done this with my in my classrooms a few times, and what's been fun about it is that after we did our cats silhouettes, we painted them and everything, and then we put them outside all around the school. And it was great because kids would come into school every day and they would see those cat silhouettes somewhere, and after a while it became kind of like a game. Where do you see the cats? Okay, so there's my original, and here's my slightly different finished one. So I can now go in and change whatever I want to change to make it look more like my original cat, and just fix it a little bit however I like. Okay, but I kind of like that it's not sort of perfect and that it's kind of a little off, because after all it is for Halloween, so we want to make it a little interesting. Okay, so once I have my drawing the way I like it on my paper, now I'm going to outline it. And you want to have, again, I just have this 99-cent store marker, and I'm going to outline my silhouette. Now, and that's my cat. That's my dog that you're hearing in the background. Sorry about that. As I'm drawing cats. Okay. So, as you do your silhouette, you can change whatever you like. If you'd like to fix a line, if you'd like to make something bigger or smaller, this is your chance, because then this will be your final finished product. Now it's much bigger. Okay, and here we go. So it's great when you're talking about art, because as I said, this is also math. You're talking about straight lines. You're talking about geometric shapes. We're talking about angles. I mean, if you wanted to, you could actually go in and measure the angles and see if you have a right angle or what kind of angles you have. So you can pretty much take it as far as you like in terms of math. So now the next thing to do would be to erase all of your pencil marks. Of course, I can't find my eraser right now, so I'm just going to do a little bit just to give you that idea. But you're going to erase all of your pencil marks so that you have a nice, just outline black silhouette of your cat. And then comes the really fun part, because now, as we said, Keith Haring loved bright colors, right? So I have some very bright orange here. I'm using some Dr. Martin's concentrated watercolors, which I love, but you can use whatever you like. You can use tempera paint, you can use markers, you can use crayons, you can even take this to another level and say, okay, well, what about using paper? What about if we took this silhouette of this cat and we put brightly colored papers inside, like a collage, right? Wouldn't that be cool? I think that would make it really different. And of course, we don't want to copy what Keith Haring did, but we do want to be inspired by him and learn how he created his images. And he worked a lot with spray paint and paint and acrylic paint as a street artist. And you can do that too if you like. You can even make a stencil of this cat and use it to paint it somewhere else, right? So this can be just a step towards another finished project. Now, the reason why I don't care that there's paint around the cat and not just inside it is because I'm going to cut it out. I'm going to cut it out, and I can use it to put it on my wall, or to hang it on my door, or to frame it and put it somewhere else, or to just maybe put it on the corner somewhere in my house, so someone will be surprised when they come in and see my little cat silhouette. Okay, so there he is. There we go, all done. And now what you want to do one last time is go around and just make sure that that outline is nice and thick, just like Keith Haring did for his images, so that color also pops and looks really nice. And then you can cut your cat out or do whatever you like with it. So there's our Keith Haring cat, and I'm going to finish this, and I'll post a picture of it up at artoutofanything.com. This video will also be up at Art Out of Anything on our YouTube channel, barking dog included, and I hope you'll stick around for the rest of October and our next Art History Halloween. Thanks for watching.